All right, welcome to the Explainer. So, you're thinking about selling on Amazon in Australia? Great! But that whole journey, it really kicks off with one single, super important step, setting up your seller account. And today, we're going to break down exactly how to get that done right.
So, if you're new to all this, you're probably looking at the whole thing thinking, okay, where do I even begin? And hey, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, that's totally normal. We're going to cut right through all that confusion and tackle the very first hurdle, which is just opening your seller account. For this explainer, we're leaning on a fantastic guide from AMZ Product Launcher.
Here's how we're going to do it. We've got 6 clear sections lined up for you. Think of it as a roadmap, taking you from getting your documents ready all the way through to what you should actually be doing the moment you get that awesome approval email.
Okay, so first things first. Let's make sure we're all on the same page about what a seller account actually is, and maybe even more importantly, what it isn't.
All right, this is probably the most important thing to get right off the bat. Opening a seller account, it doesn't mean you're suddenly open for business. Not at all. Think of it like this. You've just been given the keys to an empty shop. That's it. You have access to the space, which is called Seller Central, but the real work, stocking the shelves, planning your strategy, that's all still ahead of you. Nailing this first step, though, is absolutely critical.
So, how do you get ready for this? Well, before you even think about going to Amazon's website, trust me on this one. Getting your documents in order first is the single best thing you can do. It'll save you a world of headaches later on.
You're going to need these 6 things ready to go, and the guide we're using is super clear on this next point. The names and addresses on all of these documents have to match. I mean, perfectly. You got to remember, Amazon's verification system is mostly run by computers, and they're just looking for perfect consistency. Even one tiny little mismatch can get you delayed or even rejected, flat out.
Okay, so you've got your paperwork all lined up. Now you're facing your first big decision in the sign-up process, and that is choosing the right plan for what you want to achieve.
And you'll see there's a really clear trade-off. The individual plan, it might look tempting because there's no monthly fee, but honestly, it's kind of a false economy. It really limits your access to crucial tools, and get this, it actually charges you more for every sale you make. The source material is really strong on this point. If you're actually serious about building a business, the professional plan is pretty much the only way to go.
Okay, paperwork's ready, plan is chosen. Let's actually walk through the steps you'll see on the screen when you go to sign up.
The process itself is pretty straightforward. It's pretty linear. You'll go from your basic details to your payment info and then, finally, to the identity verification part. And just a quick heads up here, that last step, the verification, it can sometimes involve a live video call with someone from Amazon or even just taking a selfie. If that happens, don't freak out. It's totally normal.
Now, at some point, it's going to ask for your business type. The absolute key here is don't overcomplicate it. You do not need a big, formal company set up just to start selling. For most beginners in Australia, just sticking with individual or sole trader is the simplest and, frankly, the best way to move forward.
And this quote just sums it all up perfectly. This is the mindset you need right now. Your first goal is to learn the Amazon platform, understand how it all works, and get that first product launch right. Building a global brand? That can wait. Right now, it's all about learning.
Okay, now let's talk about what can go wrong. Because understanding these common mistakes is hands down the best way to make sure your own application sails through without a hitch.
Honestly, if there's one word you need to remember through all this, it's consistency. Almost every single rejection happens because of inconsistent, blurry, or just plain incorrect information. So the best advice? Just slow down. Double-check everything. And if you do hit a problem, try to fix that one thing instead of panicking and starting the whole application from scratch.
So, that email finally lands in your inbox. Approved. Awesome. Congratulations. But, and this is a big but, the guide points out that this is exactly where a lot of beginners make their most expensive mistake. That temptation to just go out and order a bunch of stock is huge, but it's a total trap if you haven't done the proper research first.
And that brings us to our final section. Because getting your account approved, that's not the finish line. Nope, it's the starting line. This is where your Amazon journey actually begins.
So, what should you be doing next? Well, the guide is very clear about this. It's all about validation, and that means doing deep research into the Australian market, really analyzing who your competitors are, figuring out all your real costs, and then building a proper strategic launch plan.
This is the stuff that separates the sellers who succeed from the ones who just, well, waste a lot of money.
And that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Your account is open, but is your strategy ready? Because having the keys to the platform is one thing, but having a validated, well-researched plan, that's what's actually going to make or break your success. That's where the real work begins.